Welcome to Video Village. I'm Mihir and today we are talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it definitely delivered. Joining me to talk about this movie is my good friend and roommate, CJ. How you doing today, CJ?
I am good. It's interesting hearing you real life.
I know, doing the intro.
That is the thing.
It is always the most awkward part whenever I'm doing it with somebody else, because I just never make eye contact. I'm looking at my notes that don't actually have anything on them. It's
you also did pre-warn me, right? You weren't like, all right, I'm about to do the video.
That would make it more awkward if I was like, all right, here we go.
Okay.
Brace yourself.
All right, I feel like I'm on the other side of Spotify now.
Yeah, I feel like because I can just get through it once, then that's all I need. I just need the sound bit.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, it was good. It was solid. I was like, wow.
Good intro. Yeah, it's good, right? I'm gotten good at it now.
Yeah, I feel like I just asked you how many times you edit. Yeah. And you don't need to edit that, so
I don't need to edit that. Yeah. That one's clean. But otherwise, I edit a lot.
All right, we'll see.
But we're not going to edit too much today because
I'm that good.
Because you're that good. Yeah. You're the only person actually that watched this movie before I did. That I know.
Oh. Really?
I remember I went to go see it, and I was like, "Do you want to come?" And you were like, "I already saw that."
That's true, but I'm surprised. Has no one in your life seen? I guess the first one.
They have. They just didn't go like. We went pretty early. Like you went almost opening weekend.
I went second day.
I
was gonna go first night, but I just didn't have time.
Yeah, I think I went day 5, day 6, which is still pretty early for a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's just start with there's been a lot of online discourse specifically on TikTok, and this is a superhero movie, but it's also an animated movie, so you have a lot of young people chiming in about their opinions on this, which I find a little annoying online. But
really,
in general, yeah, because it's just it's like the film bros being like, oh, it's Fight Club, and then it's Spider-Verse.
Oh, I see. You mean young?
Yeah, just people who are this
schoolers.
is... People are this is the greatest animated movie of all time. This is the greatest superhero movie of all time. But this is one of the few movies that I've watched, and I'm like, they might have a point. So where are you? Do you think this is the greatest animated movie? Do you think it's the greatest superhero movie?
I have seen zero. I've not seen very many superhero movies, so I don't know if I have no clue on superhero.
Okay.
But I just got into my Avengers. But in general, animated movie, is it the greatest animated movie of all time? No, but only because I feel nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if I was a few years younger, I'd be like, yes, easy yes. I think the answer might be a yes. I just don't want to give it to something that I saw late in my life,
Yeah.
We'll wait for a third one. Maybe a third one, I'm like, yes. But they've done everything good. Animation-wise, story-wise, action-wise. It's funny. I won't say I feel like the jokes are a little too much on the last one for me, but yeah, everything's good. So,
I thought it was great. I think I agree with everything. I don't think it's hard for me to say anything's the GOAT of anything, especially if it's so new. I think how something ages is important.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Right? 20 years ago, The Incredibles comes out. It's still pretty great. Yeah. But 20 years ago, also I don't know, Barnyard came out.
20 years ago, I wasn't like, oh shit, The Incredibles the greatest, Toy Story is the greatest. But then after a while, you're like, you know what, that show was the greatest.
Yeah.
So maybe in a few years, I'm like, Spider-Verse.
It might become clear in a few years that this was definitely up there, and I think it already is. That's my point. Is that I coming out of the movie, I was left with this overwhelming feeling of it was very overstimulating as a movie, but not in a bad way. Not where you were overwhelmed and didn't know what was happening. It was more just I cannot believe that actually exists in the world.
Yeah, I agree. Set a bar, because everything else is. I feel like everything else is. Everything that lasts maybe 20 years. I don't know. 20 years might be a long time. Oh, let's say 10.
Okay.
Last 10. I've not been along that life. I've not been alive that long.
2013 onwards.
Yeah, 2013 onwards. It set the bar as number one, and everything just has to match that.
Yeah. So let's get into my second point that I wanted to discuss with you. And okay. I know we disagree on this, which is why I wanted to talk about it. Is this better than the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, that came out 5 years ago? You say yes. And I think I say no. Why do you say yes? Why do you think Across the Spider-Verse is better than the original?
All right, so because we're doing this, I did a quick recap. I was like, oh, I should do something. So I watched a 2-minute video on Into the Spider-Verse.
You're comparing a full movie to 2 minutes?
I've seen the movie. I just wanted to brush up.
Okay.
Just like, oh, what were the scenes? What happened again? So now I'm like, I'm not forgetting things.
Yeah.
The level of detail in this one is so much more than the last one.
Detail, how artistic detail or story
artistic detail, story detail.
Got it.
Their connection to the greater multiverse, right? The amount of effort they put into this one is so much more. And they were able to hit, I feel, higher action scenes, like more intense action scenes. They used the animation well. The whole Spider-Man swing in, jump in, the time travel. It's not time travel, but like universe travel.
The multiverse.
Yeah. That's just done so much better than the last one. And I guess the last one you could say, the story hit harder, more heartfelt. But this one had a little bit of that with the Gwen one, with the Gwen storyline. Yeah,
that's where my like comparison starts. Is like I don't think I have a problem with. Let's not talk about this yet because I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, and then we'll jump into spoiler territory. But I don't think that I have a problem with the nature of the way this story ended. But I do think that like the first story, like yes, it was more of a traditional like Spider-Man coming of age story. Yeah. Yes, it took a different form, but like the core of it is
same thing.
He's becoming Spider-Man. But I think that there was like more emotional payoff. Like it kind of builds and builds, and you have these like relationships forming. You have the Uncle Aaron death that really hits hard, followed by the conversation with the dad through the door, where he's like, I see something in you. That hits hard. Going into the montage of him becoming Spider-Man and What's Up Danger, into the final battle where there's a moment between him and Peter B. Parker where Peter's like, how am I going to know I'm going to be okay? And he's like, you won't. It's a leap of faith, which is what he told him. It's like a 20-30 minute stretch of just like incredible scenes back to back and just like emotional payoff that you've been waiting for an hour.
I can't say anything to that without just like them spoilers are just screaming out of me.
Okay,
I just want to be like spoilers, but I hear you in that, and I will say, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so because we're like dying to spoil things, before we jump into spoilers, we're less than 10 minutes into the podcast, so people who haven't seen it can stop listening soon. Should people see this movie, and why?
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, if you like good things, if you're alive, go see it.
I kind of feel the same way.
Kind of, yeah.
This feels like an event. There's not been that many movies that I've been like this. It's not at the level of cultural impact is what I'm about to say, but it feels like a similar drive to like, you should go witness this. So like when Get Out came out 6 years ago, it was like, it was a lot of word of mouth, and it was like, you should go see this thing in theaters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel that same energy of like, this is something that you've never seen before, and it's not going to hit the same at home. Like the theatrical experience of watching something like this and just being enveloped in what we're about to talk about is pretty great.
I will say also, I do think that if you see it at home, it stands up. Because the first one, I saw both. Stood up,
Good to know.
And I also said it not being a cultural impact. I don't know why it's not. I mean, it's probably because it's animated, and animated movies are animated movies, but it should be that relevant. I think.
I agree
because it's that good, and also I don't know, it's the best Spider-Man movie out there. Also, it's one of the only movies that haven't flopped lately that I've seen that's new. Like a lot of movies flop.
Financially,
Tar. That's what I'm thinking of.
But you like Tar.
I like Tar.
But you weren't like, this is the greatest.
Weird thing. I like the movie, and I'm like, dang, this movie sucked at the same time. No, but it's not just Tar. I feel like I've gone to the theaters to see a lot of movies lately, just because movies are coming back out.
Yeah.
And this one it's like, hey, we will be good, and they are good.
Yeah.
No surprises. Just as good as it said that'll be. And it's a high bar.
Very high bar.
Yeah.
I walked out thinking that this was the best movie I had seen in 8 months easily.
Yeah.
And then I saw another movie that I'll be talking about on the podcast.
Okay.
I won't spoil it, but I walked out of that movie being like, JK, this is actually a masterpiece. And Spider-Verse is right there.
I know the movie you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. I won't say the name because the episode will come out after this one.
It's called Just kidding. Just kidding.
But okay, if you're listening now and you haven't seen this movie, we're about to get into spoiler territory, so you're going to hear this sound.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
If you don't care, if you truly don't care about spoiling this movie for yourself, like, I don't know who you are or why you're like this, but stick around. If you've seen the movie, stick around. If you haven't seen it and you do want to see it, go buy a ticket, go see it. There's not going to be that many people in the theater anymore.
Yeah. And I'll say, even if we spoil it, you should still see it.
You should still see it.
Yeah, because go see the first one if you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking to the mic like it's people.
But, yeah, no. Yeah. That's how I do it too.
Okay.
Yo, listen up, bro. Eyeing down this silver guy on my table. Yeah. Okay, spoilers.
Well, let me start this spoiler part.
Yeah.
To respond to your thing about the emotional payoff.
Yes.
I feel like you can't say there is no emotional payoff yet because we haven't seen the end of it.
But I'm talking about this movie.
I know you're talking about this.
So let's talk about this. Now that we're here, let's talk about the ending. Let's start at the end. This movie has a huge cliffhanger ending.
Yeah.
That I think worked for me in the theater. I was really loving it. I liked the whole.
Same.
When I realized what the third act was, the last 20 minutes of the movie was kind of trying to do. Really, there's that big reveal when Miles tells his mom, or who he thinks is his mom, the truth, and he realizes he's in the wrong universe. That was sick, and everything that came afterwards, I kind of saw where I was going after that, but the lead up to that was great, and I don't mind a cliffhanger ending. I think we've got a lot of those recently, which is like
really
kind of annoying.
Can you spoil out a movie? Surprise!
Well, I mean, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is very clearly Part 1, and it's kind of a cliffhanger as well.
That guy.
Not nearly the same impact of a cliffhanger.
But that's a pre-cliffhanger though.
Yeah, I guess like in general, gosh, what am I thinking about? I just feel like there's been a lot of Part 1, Part 2s of like things. Like you had Avengers Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah, that's not my... Nah, I'm not there yet.
Oh,
I'm still on
yet.
like Spider-Man. I'm still like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2. That's what I mean. Like
it's a good ride. Okay. Up until the 2019 movies, it's a fun ride, and then it kind of falls off really hard.
I'm gonna skip here and there. I'm gonna just hit the highlights.
The vitals. Yeah, makes sense. But I don't know. In general, I feel like the last 10 years there's been a trend of like let's make more money.
Yeah.
And this, I'm sure that was obviously part of it, but I don't know. I think they could not tell the story in one movie.
Any shorter. Yeah, no. This one was also long.
It was long. It's one of the longest animated movies ever made.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. See, I felt it in there.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I went in there, I'm saying that this movie's that amazing. I went in there and I was like, I'm tired and I'm a little sleepy. But still, I watched it all. That's how I know it was a really good movie. So I powered through, didn't fall asleep. Big. And yeah, I guess you're saying that you like the cliff.
I do. Would I like a full movie? Of course, I would always choose a full movie in theory over a cliffhanger ending that you need a whole other movie to tell. But I don't. Oh, another great example. I know you don't like this movie, but Dune is Dune Part 1.
Yeah, you're right.
And clearly ends on not a cliffhanger, but like it's clearly like taking its time because it's one half of the story.
Could be 1/3 of a story. How slow it went.
It was slow. I'll give you that. It was slow, but I don't mind slow.
Okay.
Slow can be good. This movie, the first 45 minutes to an hour of the movie, which in a traditional animated movie is over half, right?
That's
but the
true.
first 45 minutes goes from we have 15 minutes in Gwen's world, and then we basically start the movie again over and do it with Miles.
That's true.
And then in 45 minutes in, then he chases down Gwen, and you have Annihilate by Lil Wayne and Metro playing, and then it gets dark. Then we're going into the multiverse, and that's almost an hour in.
But see, this is also why I say this one's better, because every moment of this long movie mattered. And I know you're gonna say, all right, maybe you don't fall in love with the character, but I disagree. I think you do.
I know. I don't disagree with that, but I would argue that that's the same for Into the Spider-Verse.
I say you fall in love with the characters more. Here, you can name so many characters from this.
That's true. And in the first movie, they don't do anything with Gwen. Gwen is basically just not a character. It's just him and Peter B. Parker and his family.
Do you even remember what's her name? Aunt May. Do you remember her from the first movie?
Just because I've seen the montage of What's
That's
Up
my
Danger
point.
so
Like, she's a forgettable character.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Even a lot of the crew, they have like one cool thing they do in a fight, and that's it.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think you're right. This one, you have Hobie, the punk Spider-Punk.
Exactly.
And he was great.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya, voiced by Daniel Kaluuya. You have Pavitr Prabhakar, the Indian Spider-Man India. He was really fun. His whole world was fun. We'll talk about that more later. And then all the like returning cast of like Haley Steinfeld as Gwen and Peter B. Parker, who like we got to know a lot in the first movie, so it just felt like we picked up where we left off.
Gwen is so much better in this movie.
Miguel, I feel like we understood him pretty well as like a faux villain, like just another force.
Holes.
Oh, Spot, yeah.
Spot.
I want to talk about Spot, but before we do that, let's just shout out like Gwen Stacy's world. Like opening the movie like that was pretty crazy. I think when I watched that first 15 minutes of like just colors and paint everywhere.
Yeah, it was that was one of the nicely, I feel like, better animated parts of the movie.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the whole it felt like you're in a Spider-Man museum and you're just like.
Oh yeah, and once it started, I remember watching it and I was like, oh, okay, it's going on. Then they're gonna switch, but then it did switch for a while. And I was like, okay, if this is the movie, I'm here for it. It was that good.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. So I learned this from TikTok recently that a lot of the stuff that they show with Gwen on the drums and that whole thing, and then her swinging through and everything they show with her dad and what happened to her, Peter Parker, how he died. A lot of that just comes straight from the comics. Like there's a literal comic book that opens on page 1 with her banging the drums like we saw in the movie. And I was like, that's sick. They just took it right out, and it feels fresh because we don't know.
It's kind of like the first movie. They had the comic books each time they introduced a Spider-Man.
Yes,
and it was the comic cover of their real life comic.
Yeah.
So I guess this is opening it.
There you go.
Clever on them. See,
that is very clever.
Attention to detail. That's
there
what I'm
go.
saying.
No, I agree. I think this one they were like, okay, we could do whatever we wanted in the first one. People like that. Now let's really do whatever we want. To the point where like the structure of the film and the way they told the story is pretty non-traditional. Like movies that start with like multiple openings like that are A, long, but B, usually are telling this huge epic tale. And then, like Lord of the Rings feels like that. Where like, have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Not a walking simulator, but yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's a walking simulator.
Yeah.
In the third movie, the last 45 minutes, it's just ending after ending. It's like you say goodbye to this character, you say goodbye to this character, they sail off, and then you say goodbye again, and it's like that. And that's kind of what they did in the beginning of this, but it felt fresh because it felt purposeful. So I want to talk about like, I guess like, did you find the payoff of everything we learned about Gwen and her father, and then coming back to them later in the story? Do you feel like that payoff worked for you? Because for me personally, I think that like the first 15 minutes were like gorgeous and beautiful and really sad.
Yeah.
And then it didn't feel rushed. It felt like they almost like chose when designing the story. They were like, all right, let's like make sure Gwen's good with her dad before getting into the third movie, because it's a lot of emotional baggage to take care of. So they were like,
it's not the main character.
Yeah, but like they could have kept it a little.
I hear.
They could have kept her on a cliffhanger as well. Like she is gonna go save Miles' dad because I don't know. I think it just didn't hit the same.
I feel like I kind of feel what you're saying, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, she's not. She's there to help Miles.
Sure.
And I don't want to go into like what the second movie. I think the third movie is going to be so important, because I do think she, at the end of the day, she's just there for the 2 Miles that exist in this movie.
Right.
Yeah, and so I'm fine. I'm fine that she. I almost feel like the third movie would be too much if we're dealing with another Miles and Miles here and Miguel there and Gwen doing the thing with her dad.
You're right.
It'd be too much for me to follow. So I don't mind it. I do feel like, yes, maybe they could have taken more time to flesh that out rather than some of the Miguel world scenes. Like the Spider-Man chase scene maybe didn't have to be that long. But
sure.
Yeah, but I was fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just a little small thing. But yeah, I loved the opening. And then so 15 minutes go by, and it's just this beautiful like intro to Gwen Stacy's world and her father and their relationship, followed by a huge falling out. And we meet Miguel, and we meet who was the character that Issa Rae voices?
Oh yeah, the
woman on the motorcycle.
Motorcycle pregnant.
Yes.
Pregnant Spider-Man.
I don't know her name, but she was really fun.
Yeah.
And they defeat the Vulture that came from like the Renaissance era or whatever.
I'm also saying there's so many more characters you love in part 2.
There's a lot to love.
That number 1.
I agree. Yeah. Maybe by the end of this, I'll be like, all right, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
I'm open-minded.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have all of that and just like this awesome fight scene and a lot of like musical themes introduced, And all this is like jam-packed into 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Gwen enters the portal, and we go right into that classic Spider-Man intro where it's kind of just like the first movie. And then from there on, we're with Miles for the next half an hour in Miles' world.
That's true. And that whole... I will say, when we first jump in, and this is why I also like the third movie more, or just, I guess, my draw to I keep saying the third movie, the second movie.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try and not think about the whole cliffhanger part, but
yeah.
the second movie, when they introduce everyone in the beginning, you kept wanting more of like the Gwen, because that story was so good. Kind of felt like we're just goofing off, taking a break from such an important story.
Yeah.
And after a while, towards the end, that small section becomes so important, Yeah, that's my thing. I don't want to jump in and start talking about Holes, but Holes is or Spot, whatever, whatever his name is. He's my favorite character in the whole thing. That's why I'm like, that whole section of his introduction to the end, and how he's the story that actually matters in the whole overarching thing. Yeah, that's what drew me to it.
It's pretty great. So let's talk about him. Like, we're here.
We could jump in. Let's do this.
Miles Morales is opening. We see Miles swinging around. His parents are waiting for him at a parent-teacher conference or whatever.
Yeah.
And Miles is delayed because he's fighting this random villain he finds
in a better Spider-Man now.
Store. Huh?
He's a better Spider-Man now.
Why do you say that?
Well, he's like living life as... I don't know. I feel like... Have you seen... I mean, of course, I feel like most people have. The, like, Spider-Man 1, 2, 3 movies.
Yes.
The Tobey Maguire ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's Spider-Man 2 Tobey Maguire. He's confident, he's swinging, he's working as Spider-Man and, doing all
delivering
these things.
pizza, and he's living both
life, yeah. Going on dates in Spider-Man 3 and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's the Miles we see.
And I think a big theme of this movie is what happens after he fights the Spot. I just skipped over the Spot, but we'll come back.
Yeah.
Miles is late to the parent-teacher conference, and his teacher says, or the counselor says, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And he walks in and he says, unless you have 2 cakes. Cut to the party for his dad. What does Miles do? He has 2 cakes with him. So this is his whole thing, is like he wants to be Spider-Man and he wants to be Miles Morales. He wants to go to college and study all these things. Yeah. But he also wants to go be a superhero and fight crime and be the hero that he realized he was in the first movie. All of that setup is really well done and really subtle. I think it's the best writing in the entire movie.
It's like so good.
This 30-minute segment we have with him and his family.
And and it's such a slow setup because it's just you living Miles' life, and it feels like you're just watching Miles, but in the background you're setting up the whole
movie's being set up, and it's so I thought it was brilliant because I didn't even catch it my first time when I watched it.
Yeah,
it wasn't until after I was like, oh my god, he had 2 cakes with him. She literally said that.
And the cake says, what does it say? I'm not proud or something like that.
Yeah.
I saw that picture. I didn't pick that up though.
Yeah. I just thought that was great.
And like I guess we go. I will say I'm still not sure. The whole you have your cake and eat it too. Can he have his cake and eat it too?
That's the internal question. None of the other Spider-Men think you can, because they're like, you have to let your dad die. You can't be.
But he's not Spider-Man.
Well, exactly.
Well, he is Spider-Man.
He is Spider-Man, but he's Miles Morales. That's why he's the whole. That's the whole thing, though. Is the Spider-Man are like, you can't be Spider-Man and decide your own fate. If you're Spider-Man, you have to adhere to these canon events that you cannot control. And Miles is like, fuck that. I want to be Spider-Man and control my destiny. Mm-hmm. I want to have my cake and eat it too.
See, this is my question with like the multiverse and all that. It's like there's so much. I don't know. This is also I'm like me being a newbie to the whole multiverse thing. Mm-hmm. He's there. Every Spider-Man is telling him your dad will die.
Yeah.
But in his world, Uncle Ben's already dead.
Well, Uncle Ben is related to Peter Parker, not Miles Morales.
Yeah, but he had a Spider-Man in his world that died.
Uh-huh.
So I'm saying the Uncle Ben's already dead. Spider-Man.
So you're saying the canon event is complete?
The canon event's complete. He's just part 2.
Well, I think that's a theory that I saw afterwards, was like, because they keep saying Miles Morales is the anomaly, but because he is this anomaly, then
Oh.
he does not have to adhere to canon events. So he's gonna end up being fine. He'll be able to save his dad.
See, I actually don't think he's there now. This is my personal theory now. I
Okay.
think that when he goes to the second world and meets himself as Prowler, that was the guy that was supposed to be Spider-Man.
Yes, that is,
So he is Spider-Man in another universe.
but not his universe.
Not his universe.
In his universe, he's the anomaly because he
Yeah.
wasn't meant to be Spider-Man.
But I'm saying the fact that there is a Spider-Man that is Miles Morales also means there's other universes that have many, many more Miles Moraleses as Spider-Man.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a plot hole or just a gap, or maybe that's
I
something
think
that
that's how it
happens.
ends, man.
If we're going beyond the Spider-Verse, maybe that's what
I think in
happens.
5 years we just Peter Parker's dead.
Peter Parker, it's just
Tom
all Miles.
Holland's gone.
Yeah.
It's just all Miles.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. But yeah, that's my theory.
That's
about
interesting.
Yeah.
And then I never thought about that. It's like if there's 2 miles, why are there not 200 miles?
Yeah. And I will say I did see this. This part I did see.
Okay.
There's a picture of that Miles when he there's a point where he joins consciousness with
The Spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he sees what his spider was about to do,
And in the classroom, correct?
and
right?
he was gonna bite him.
He was gonna.
That was the guy. That was Prowler.
It was gonna bite Prowler. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
gonna bite alternate Miles.
Yeah, alternate Miles.
Yes,
So
and
yeah,
then-
that alternate Miles, actually, his canon event is to be Spider-Man.
To be Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he'll be Spider-Man at the end of the next movie. Again, it's just me, just being great, just me being great, guys.
Just saying what's just you wrote letters.
I wrote this movie.
You wrote
Yeah.
letters to them 5 years ago. And you're
Yeah,
like,
we
here's
had-
what we should do,
Yeah,
and
no.
they're gonna follow your advice, and then they're gonna write the movie you want.
Who wouldn't? You know? No, but yeah, no, I enjoyed the whole setup. The whole setup with Spot. The whole setup with Spot complaining and being a joke. Being the same way Miles Morales was a joke, the first, I guess, movie.
Right.
Because he goes, oh, I made you. They kind of make each other, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the Spot a little bit, because I think people that I watched the movie with, or like people that I've talked about with the movie, were let down by the fact that yes, it's a cliffhanger, but it feels like Spot's the villain they're gonna have to fight, and then you don't. And I kind of loved that. I kind of loved the way they used the Spot,
Yeah.
because of what you're saying of like you have Spot, you'd think he's just a bumbling villain just to like get the story going in the beginning, which is what he's presented as, and then he keeps coming back,
Yeah.
and we spend a couple minutes with him in his like weird dimension where he's just like in himself and is like traveling through different dimensions and gaining power.
Yeah.
And by the time we fight him and lose really in Mumbai, and he has that whole moment where he's like, I'm gonna come back and take everything, and the music that plays, and he's like, see you at home, Spider-Man, just disappears. That's like chilling, like top 5 Spider-Man villain shit right there.
I think so too. I also if you buy into his canon event mind thing, he appears to be such a big villain. He's supposed to be like a Thanos level villain. I don't know if that's true, guys. Don't come at me, you know.
Yeah, you're talking about in that vision, he's like as tall as buildings.
Yeah, he's like controls dimensions. He's like what's his name? Miguel sees him as kind of like a big reason that the whole multiverse could collapse or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he's that strong,
He feels large.
yeah, I feel like it's a good thing to wait 3 movies. You know, like to the second. Well, they're not 3 movies. It's a good thing to wait to the second movie. It's like battle him just because I don't know that Miles is there yet. I mean, he can barely do electricity in this movie.
That's
Even
true.
though he's comfortable being Spider-Man, he's not comfortable being Miles Morales Spider-Man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's comfortable being Spider-Man, but he's not comfortable being Miles Morales.
Yeah, you know what?
It's deep.
I'm just.
You're
look
spitting
at-
right now. Write that down.
I'm
Write that down. No, I think it's a good take.
Yeah, no, but so I like how long it takes. I also, the movie had so much going for it. I would have felt overwhelmed if
It
we
tried to
had
end it.
if they had to battle a whole villain again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having Miguel as I don't know if he's the fake villain. What do you call it? The halfway villain.
Yeah, whatever just like another force in the story.
Yeah, it was good.
It was
Miguel's
great.
a good character too.
Miguel's a great character
Yeah.
because it's like he lost his daughter trying to do what Miles is doing. So he's like, I've done this before and you're not going to win.
Yeah, no.
And
I
you'll
resonate.
lose everything.
Yeah, I resonate with him, like, being like, stop making so much goddamn jokes, y'all. Fucking focus.
It's serious over here. Yeah. I liked all the banter when the Spot was fighting Miles and his dad was there with him. It was like a pretty funny because you still think Spot is kind of bumbling, but you've been with him for like 15 minutes. You're like, is this guy just a nothing character, or is he gonna up until he kicks himself in the butt and like falls into himself?
He's starting to look good slowly. You're like, I was a little worried for his dad and that. I was like, is this where
his dad is gonna die? Yeah,
I was like, oh damn, that'll be tragic.
Yeah, because it took a little long, and you're like,
I know, right? At first, I was like, all right, he gets him out of the convenience store. We move on. We go see, I don't know, Grim Goblin or something. Right. Even though I know the Grim Goblin died, but that Grim Goblin was brawling AF in the first movie. But then he just kept going and kept going. I kind of just grew on you. And I feel like that's his point. He's there so you see him a certain way. You see him the same way Miles sees him in the beginning, kind of like an idiot. And towards the end, he matters so much.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he matters yet to Miles really, because Miles is worried about.
Well, it's a Spot that's gonna kill his dad, so he's worried.
Yeah, but I guess he's also worried about the other Spider-Man too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but
his immediate battle in the beginning, beginning of the next movie will be alternate Miles.
Yeah.
Did you like the whole backstory of the Spot and him being the guy that got hit by the bagel and, the one who brought the spider into this dimension in the first place? All that stuff. Yeah. Did that work for you? It worked for me.
I don't need like a whole. I feel like maybe I guess we're used to just seeing like a character that they go and be like, oh, back in the day they did so much.
Yeah.
I like to start back in the day. And we move forward. I don't need a whole, he's bagel, sometimes that's all we are. We're just a bagel in the face.
Just a bagel in the face. Did you watch Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I did.
I mean, multiverse bagels in both stories.
Does that mean something?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. The bagel that was the everything bagel was the multiverse.
Are you saying that's a link?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just think it's interesting. Okay. Movies came out within a year of each
sound
other.
Like one of those
conspiracy theorists.
He did what?
I'm like, so next time we see a bagel in a movie, it's implying that there are multiple universes. I ate 2 bagels this morning, so that means there's 2 other versions of me out there.
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, no, I guess the everything bagel scene, but was it an everything bagel? Could have just been a blueberry.
I don't know what it was. Yeah. That's interesting. I should find out what kind of bagel it was. Yeah. If it's everything bagel, I'm like highly suspect.
Okay.
But it doesn't. That doesn't make. I don't know.
It could make It could be like because they do mad. What's it called? Easter eggs in these movies, so could be.
Could be.
I'm not an Easter egg. Yeah, I'm not an Easter egg catcher.
Yeah, not me neither. Really.
Yeah.
The one only this isn't an Easter egg, I don't think, but I think I sent it to you. But the spider. In the first movie, the spider is glitching when we see it bite Miles. And that's just like, you just don't even question why it's glitching. You just think it's glitching because it's a radioactive spider.
Yeah.
And then you realize that it's glitching because it's from a different universe. I thought that hit so hard after the fact.
I think the movie, I think like the whole, they're so good at getting you to see everything through Miles' eyes.
Yes.
Because of how, because I remember that scene, he just nonchalantly kills the spider,
Yes.
And we move on. We move on with him.
We know that that's gonna make him Spider-Man, but it's like the spider doesn't matter.
Yeah. He just carries on his life, becomes Spider-Man. And I also think in this movie too, when we see Spot, we treat Spot as nonchalantly as we treat everyone the way Miles sees them almost. I think that's really good writing on their end.
I agree.
Yeah. Shouts out to them.
So Spot goes away. We have the party with the family. We have the parents meeting Gwen in kind of like that moment where they get mad at Miles and then the mom grounds you. Yeah.
That is one part I feel like I didn't like in this movie.
The party?
No, not the party. Like them meeting Gwen. Maybe I just wanted to mean more. Yeah. It just was such a throwaway scene for something that's been building up for 2 movies. Oh my goodness, they finally meet Gwen and then she's like, okay.
I didn't mind it.
Okay.
What I liked is that they have another moment at the end when Gwen is like, your son loves you a lot, like more than you know, but I'm gonna go find him. Because they don't care about Gwen. She's just a white girl, and they're like, this fucking white girl's ruining her son's life. Like,
yeah, but you come back home one day, you see your son with a random white girl on the roof. You just go, "What's up?" and you go home. You go sleep.
Well,
like,
no, they were concerned. You know, they were like, "Oh,
you inviting white girls to my roof now?"
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did.
Okay.
I feel like they were
I don't know. I felt like the scene just lasted. It was nice. It was nice to see just trust in parents and whatnot. That's so I hear that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna die on this hill.
Okay.
it's not like the greatest scene in the movie.
It's not. That's my point. Maybe I just wanted the scene to mean more to
That's
me.
fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I did like the moment right after of Miles talking to his mom, and her saying like, "Don't let them tell you don't belong," and like don't, but also don't forget where you came from. All this stuff. It feels like, I don't know. It just feels like the start of this epic journey that he obviously ends up going on and is still on. And this is jumping ahead, but when he's telling who he thinks is his mom that he is Spider-Man, he says something that is like dark Spider-Man vibes, where he's like, "I did it. I beat them all. Like I'm better than all of them." Oh. And I was like, "That's not what your mom wanted you to get away." But he had this like,
because he's the Prowler. That's what I don't know. I'm just saying that.
He has it in him. He has it in him. I just think it's interesting that because like when I watched that, I was like, that's not what your mom wanted you to get out of this, and B, like that's not what I thought I got out of this. I wasn't looking at you like, oh, he beat everybody. It's like you survived.
Yeah.
But you just outsmarted them once, and he had this like ego about him that is immediately kind of taken away.
That's very interesting.
I just thought it was a really cool way to write it, because it's like he had this moment that he thought was this like big deal for him, but it's flawed. It's inherently flawed, because like he's telling his mom that he's Spider-Man, but in this vein of like, because I have the confidence because I'm better than other people now. Yeah, I just think that's interesting. He's a teenager.
That's really good. I didn't even think about that, because I guess he gets immediately. He comes back to should I say Earth? He comes back to 42.
42, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But that's a good catch. That is very Dark Spider-Man-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Dark Spider-Man is forever ruined by Tobey Maguire, but
listen,
in my head...
I agree it's not a good movie. It's like borderline good, mostly bad.
Yeah.
But when you watch other Spider-Man... Like, the Tom Holland movies are, like, not really much better. Across the board.
I guess... Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie out there. Go watch it.
Oh, by far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Both the Spider-Verse movies are like leagues ahead of any other Spider-Man movie out there. Yeah.
I did see theories that Miles Morales is a canon Miles. It'd be crazy if they had like an animated Miles in the Avengers. On some like
what you just heard is CJ miming his mind subtly exploding.
Yeah, no, I'm joking, but no, that's a good catch. That's a very dark Spider-Man. I wonder where the next movie would pick up.
Well, I think it's gonna be interesting because you have Miles obviously itching to get out, but he has this like inherently wrong way of thinking, and who knows what kind of person the Prowler is. You know, we know nothing about his actual personality. Yeah, he's a villain, but does he have like weirdly like more sound morals or somehow? Then not morals in the sense of like good and bad, but morals of like he knows who he is and what he can and cannot.
I agree. Because also his uncle's pretty interesting. He has also like similar morals. He's like doing all these bad things, but
we still end up liking him.
Yeah, and apparently his dad was bad in the past. So
his dad was bad?
Yeah, in the Spider-Man 2 scene, he was like, "Man, your uncle used to do bad things."
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So whatever that means, I don't know.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I also have this thought in the back of my mind when you explain all this is. Does no one look for Miles? He's just a teenager now coming.
Well, how long was he gone in real? Like, was it like?
I don't know. That's my question. It's just like, because then her coming back that night could have been so crazy. I think he's gone for like 2 hours. She comes in like, "I love your son. Loves you." He's like, "He just left. Like, what are you?"
I actually do think because when they leave the party, the sun is setting or it's nighttime, and then when he comes back, and when Gwen comes back, it's also night. I don't think it's been a full day. There's nowhere that they're like sleeping. They go to the Moonbatten. They go to Moonbatten, they fight. Then they go to Spider City, they fight, and then he's back. So it might have just been like in the middle of the night or something.
Okay. Can we go to Moonbatten?
Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and then we will jump into like the multiverse and all that.
Okay.
let's talk about the multiverse. And I guess let's start with Moonbatten, because that's like a 15-minute, 20-minute scene that's just like a lot of fun. It's the first time we like see a new world in the multiverse, and it's like obviously it's like very Indian inspired, but like it's just like there's crazy animation. Even them just like before the fighting even begins, them just swinging through the city with Pavitr was just like sick. The colors and everything, and then obviously it becomes like a fight scene with the Spot and him creating this black hole that's supposed to suck up the police chief, who is the father of that Spider-Man India's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then Miles saves him. What are your feelings about this whole sequence? I had a really good time during that sequence. Obviously, like, they were making Indian jokes and stuff. He was like, "Don't say chai tea, that's TT." All that stuff was good. British Museum and all the stuff they stole, like just like little things like you just like it's fun to hang out.
Honestly, that scene, Kelly had to. I guess I'm name dropping.
Name drop your girlfriend.
Yeah, but she had to like explain some of the scene because I think I missed a good portion of that. Not the jokes and the whole thing, but the whole reason he's so gun ho about saving the name. You could say the name.
Oh, Spider-Man India is easier than Pavitr. We gotta get these stools fixed.
Okay. No, but so Calvi kind of explained how like why he's so gun ho about trying to save his dad, because when he sees Spot's consciousness, apparently Spider-Man India's dad dies in the same way his dad's supposed to die. Trying to save some girl, and I was like, "Oh, I see." That's why he's like,
it's like the canon event that Miles as an anomaly stops, which ends up causing an anomaly in Spider-Man India's world that they have to now go kind of deter.
But I enjoyed the world though. I mean, the only bad thing I guess is called Moonbatten. I wish they had just gone with something else. I want to say more unique than Manhattan, but
Manhattan plus Mumbai.
Yeah,
that was tough. Not a great name.
But I liked it. I liked everything about it. I liked that whole scene. I thought the Spider-Man India was funny. I thought that was one of the better, most solid like jokes of all the worlds we saw.
Totally. We also meet Hobie in this world, which
that's true.
And Hobie and Spider-Man India have this like fun friendship.
Yeah, and Hobie's also maybe top 5 Spider-Man ever, right?
Oh, for sure. He's great.
Yeah, really good too.
I love all like Miles thinking that, or not knowing if Hobie and Gwen like hooked up or whatever. He's like, how many something like you left your toothbrush at his place, like why you leave your toothbrush, all that stuff. I also like that it's completely unanswered. Like, did she sleep with Hobie? Like, probably, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but Hobie doesn't care.
Hobie doesn't care.
He's too anarchist to care about little stuff like that.
And I love that like it's kind of set up that like Miles and Hobie are not going to be friends because of this. Yeah. And then Hobie ends up being the only person watching out for him. Yes,
exactly.
It was just such a great.
Another thing I thought, like I guess, sorry for banging the table there, but like another, I guess, showcase of their writing is how they have Hobie just being this antagonist this whole time, and he's like pilfering stuff. Yeah. And it turns out he's pilfering stuff to save Spider-Man in the future. He teaches him the hand tricks.
Oh, that payoff was so sick.
Right?
Because he teaches them in the world, like, use your hands. And then when Miles is in that red cage and you're just seeing the camera kind of pan from Spider-Man, it's like a second of Hobie being like, hey, he just shows him the hands. And then you just pan away from him, and then you just see Miles do it. And I'm like, it was so quick and so happening, but you know exactly what they're talking about. And it's almost all nonverbal.
Exactly. I was like, oh, they're really good at setup.
Yes.
They should set up my life.
Can you just plan some canon events for me in the future?
Let a guy do a little thing, help me out, let him easy stuff. But no, I enjoyed. I was gonna say it's one of the favorite worlds, but I also think Miguel's world was just. I guess we don't really see Miguel's world.
We see downtown.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that world, because we spend way more time there, and it obviously is more important. I'll pause and just say, like, so I saw, obviously, Everything Everywhere All at Once is like a goated movie.
Everything Bagel.
But besides that, every multiverse movie in this like chain of the last 5 years that we've seen doesn't hold up compared to this movie. Like, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in my mind was such a letdown. I'm not even talking about like the movie, but just the way they present the multiverse. We go to one alternate universe and it's incredibly boring.
Oh.
And it's like, you name the movie Multiverse of Madness, you can't make it this disappointing. No Way Home, like, yeah, a lot of fan service, but like the world, there's no new world that they're going to. It's like,
Okay.
as a multiverse, just like,
Enthusiast.
no. Yeah, as a multiverse professional. Hi, scholar of multiverses here. No, I think as like, I want to talk about the whole multiverse like structure more, but just like as a concept of a multiverse, this one is so just like, it's so much more fun to watch this movie.
I wasn't even think it's a better multiverse. I was about to say something crazy
No, let's hear it. You're the king of hot takes. If you believe it,
I want to take it. I was gonna say it's a better multiverse than Everything Everywhere All at Once, but that's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was about to be crazy. Yeah. No, yes, they do it in a very fun way, and they also do it in a very meaningful way. Like, you see the worlds mean something. The worlds mean so much to the characters that are in those worlds.
Yeah.
And they're a big reason why you love those characters. So I was like, I enjoyed going to different worlds.
Me too.
Even when we finally go to Earth 42, which is so similar, I think that the payoff is also similar to his world. I guess it's weird out Earth 42.
Yeah.
According to them. Yeah. I think it's like the storylines there and the colors. Maybe it's also just like good animation chops. I'm just like, oh, this looks pretty. It's nice.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty. The like lighting and like the blue skies in that Spider City kind of remind me of like whatever stills I've seen from like anime movies. If that makes sense.
In Miguel's World.
Miguel's World, where it's like tall skyscrapers that like kind of evoke this like Asian
yes.
city, but
Yeah.
also like you have like green hills and blue skies, which
Yeah,
just
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like very like Your Name.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a movie poster of Your Name, so I might be
Okay.
talking about my ass, but like I was like, this is very pleasant.
Yeah, Your Name is a good movie. You should watch it. You should watch it. Do an episode on Your Name.
I would love to.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big hole. I mean, anything Asian cinema is a big hole in my like repertoire. I've seen one Studio Ghibli movie. It's Spirited Away.
Oh man, wild.
Yeah.
One studio.
One, and I watched it 2 months ago.
Oh my god.
I know. I watched it for my like. I did an episode about the 10 influential animated movies. Of the
So
21st
you
century.
watched the one.
I watched it, and then I was like, oh,
If
okay.
you could watch a ton of Studio Ghibli movies and put them on that list, I feel.
I'm sure I could.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was a 21st century list though. Again, so
Have you done this episode?
yeah, I did.
Oh.
You gotta catch up, man.
I gotta catch up. Do you have Akira on this list?
But that's not 21st century.
Oh, okay, so in 21st century.
If I did all animated movies of all time, like it would be, I have to make it like a list of at least 25 movies to cover enough years,
Okay.
and then it would just be picking and choosing like what my preferences are, because there's so many movies out there.
Where were we?
I wanted to shout out one thing in the idea of like the canon events and the multiverse. I think the reason it felt so fresh to me, this is like another multiverse movie and another like Spider-Man movie, but the reason it feels so fresh is because they call out that there are so many Spider-Man movies. We've seen last 20 years, we've seen 10 Spider-Man movies.
Too many.
And not even counting the ones where Spider-Man appears in like Avengers, Infinity War, Civil War, things like that.
I don't watch superhero movies, and I've seen too many Spider-Man
There's
movies.
too many. And this is the first one that's like, like, there's a ton of these that exist through all mediums of art.
Yeah.
And B, what power do we have as creators and artists to alter and change what has already been decided?
Ooh, yeah.
And it's like, it's like this is IP is like,
that's a deep question.
it is. It's like a 75-year-old comic. It's super old.
Super influential.
Very influential.
In video games.
Everyone knows
movies,
it. Everyone knows
everything,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
He's often cited as the most beloved superhero.
Yeah.
And this movie's the first one that's like, can we just change it up? Because Miles Morales, maybe this is where we should get into Miles Morales as like a comic, but like from what I've learned doing research is that I think we were talking about this earlier this week, is that Donald Glover was hoping to be Spider-Man in his community days, does this whole like online campaign, Donald for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Doesn't end up getting Andrew Garfield's role, but Community kind of like does an Easter egg with it where he's wearing a Spider-Man hoodie in the first episode of the second season.
Yeah.
The creators of this movie like see that, they like how he looks, they like this idea of a black Spider-Man. They write Miles Morales as a character. That was right. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so this idea of like Miles Morales being an anomaly and being different is like rooted in the fact that he is an anomaly. He's not supposed to be here. It's literally just an idea that some guy had 10 years ago and made, and now obviously everyone knows him because of these movies. And I just love that. It's like playing on this meta aspect of the character. It's also playing on like, can we create characters that are just brand new and not Peter Parker's or not rhyming names, and can we make their stories completely different?
Yeah, and from what I know, very little I know on the, the comic book world. I don't want your listener, your large viewer base to just come at me.
You're about to get 4 crazy emails from me and my 3 other email addresses.
But no, from what I know, I feel like at that time also it was like they were trying to change it. They were changing like the Hulk. I think they made like an Asian Hulk. There were all these characters that they were trying to like what's the word, like
reinvigorate.
Yeah, thank you.
And they all failed.
Yeah, they all failed. Yeah. But Miles, like, that's stuck. And also that's like it's for Spider-Man, which is already so influential for some reason. Spider-Man has been huge in like all our lives, in video games, everything. So many people know Spider-Man and love Spider-Man. So yeah, shouts out to that. I don't know if it's purely on, I guess, who's making the story, if it's the writing, if it's maybe just resonates with people more. But whatever the case, I'm glad it stuck.
It's weird, like when you look at Spider-Man as like a character and like his qualities. Like first of all, he's in New York and he's fighting crime, and he's just like, it's a very like urban character. It's not like he's in the suburbs or whatever. Like, it's crazy that he's just been a white guy this entire time.
Yeah, I mean that was the entire point, right?
It's nuts. Like, it's like it's a no-brainer. Like I can't believe we waited till 2011 to make this happen. Like Obama had been in office for 3 years.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of Obama, I just saw this on TikTok.
Oh.
You're dropping all your TikTok things.
Okay.
Apparently, in his world, in the first movie, there's a Michelle Obama sticker when you first open. That shows that we're in not our world, because it's Michelle Obama who was president.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if in the Prowler's world it's Obama and they're like, thanks, Obama. It's like, yeah, in the bad world, Obama's president.
Yeah, Obama's.
The creators are like, yeah, we're actually super Republican. Like they just out themselves in the last movie. It's like red-blooded Americans.
That's the third movie.
That's the third movie. Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Obama's the big villain. Yeah. No, but I forget where we were on.
You were just shouting out the Michelle Obama.
Oh yeah, but yeah, no, and then they made this movie because of a great rewrite. I know rewrite that's been coming.
It's long overdue.
Yeah, I also think
this is it's not. I like that it's not cheesy. It's not just like let's tell a Spider-Man movie with the black guy. It's like let's like very much like call out the fact that like he's black and this is different and no one thinks he should be here and he feels different.
And rewrite his own story. His own like even though he's still Spider-Man, he's still going through the same things Spider-Man went through. It still very much feels like it's Miles Morales' world.
Totally.
I think with him in the first movie he's learned to be Spider-Man, but they never treat him as another revamp like reboot of Spider-Man. He's not Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield. He is
very much separate.
Yeah, which is cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they've been doing it well for 10 years. I don't know how. It's a good plan. Donald Glover's got to get like residuals or something.
He was in the movie. That's why he was in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. The whole thing is 10 years of storyline based on him.
All based on him.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you got work to do.
I got work to do.
Yeah.
The next episode is Donald Glover. The Donald Gloververse.
Exactly.
Everything Donald Glover is.
Should get him on here.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I don't like this. This is a weird podcast. It's just you? Just you on a mic? There's no studio? It's just you in your living room right now?
Maybe that's what he's into. I don't know. He's a big Philadelphia guy.
Should we talk about the chase scene?
Yes.
Fucking, like, that's one of the things they showed in the trailer. The teaser trailer is like a bunch of Spider-Man, and then they have a little bit of things. They have Spider-Man chasing him, and I didn't feel like it spoiled anything at all. Like it hit so hard in theaters.
It did.
And it was just like, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was edge of your seat, but it was just like what you'd been waiting for. It's like, let's fucking go. And it's just like so chaotic and so fun. And there's so many little Easter eggs. Like if you were watching it at home and you paused it every second, you'd see
so many
different Spider-Man and references. There's a Spider-Man plushie that's thrown at his head. There's like a
Spider-Man parked car.
Parked car?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Do you see that?
There's a spider cat I saw.
Yeah.
We did really quick, the Lego Spider. You know about the kid who animated the Lego Spider-Verse?
No. Yes.
So you remember there was a Lego scene in the movie?
Yeah.
That scene was animated by a 14-year-old kid. So that kid animates 3 years ago. He animates a scene or a trailer of Into the Spider-Verse and he puts it on YouTube, blows up. Creators see it. They're like, "This is sick." They reach out to the families, and they're like, "We want your son to animate a Lego scene for the movie."
This is crazy.
They're like, "Well, as soon as he does his homework, we'll let you talk to him."
He's that good at animating at 14?
14. And he has a movie credit, one of the biggest movies of the year.
One of the biggest movies of all time.
Of all time, yeah. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
And it's like...
Damn, his life is gonna, know where to go from here.
It's just all downhill. There's no way he's gonna live up to that.
Yeah. No, but that's crazy.
I see heroin in his future.
Hey, might as well,
Canon event is opium. We're completely sober, by the way. This feels like we're like drunk talking right now. We're just chugging water right now.
Yeah, just water.
Just hydrating.
High on life.
Mm-hmm.
This is our canon event.
It's our canon event. It's talking about Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this. I liked everything. I will say a lot of comparisons have been made to the moment with Miguel on the train where he says, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing," to the first movie, and where he's like, "What's up, danger? It's a leap of faith," all that stuff. You can't really compare them because it's not fair. But like in terms of like moments where he's like realizing something about himself and making a choice.
You mean Miles doing his own thing?
Miles doing his own. Remember when he's like, Miguel's like telling him you can't do this.
Yeah.
And electrifies him and jumps off the train. The first movie's version of that hits so much harder.
You think so?
Oh, for sure. Ooh, I think it was great. All the stuff with Miguel was great, but like comparing like again the payoff of like Miles is gonna win that train fight. Otherwise, the movie doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. But like knowing that like Miles has never done anything as Spider-Man besides like lose, and then he's like just about to leave off a building and like the whole payoff of that.
That's true.
You love to see Spider-Man swinging. I just thought it was great.
That's very true. I don't think there was as much big payoffs in this movie. You're right. That first movie where he leaps and then you see the city, and that's kind of the cover of the whole movie. I feel you in that. That was a big scene. It wasn't like the most action-packed climax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
a lot of action still, but not like you'd expect from a superhero movie with the whole bad guy fighting. I think that was good for me. I didn't need a whole... I didn't need a part one antagonist, a part one villain to do battle with. Yeah. Yeah, I liked I liked the setup.
Me too.
I'm glad it stops. I'm glad they clipped. It's rare that I'm glad that something is done, and I wish it'd come out sooner, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't mind. I thought the action with Miguel specifically was good. Like they have some really like intense fighting.
Yeah.
It's also where you get to see a lot of that like Spider-Man, like charm, where you have all these people just like being Spider-Man, and that's always fun. There's a lot of quips, a lot of jokes, a lot of like little interactions between side characters.
I know that TikTok thing. I didn't see this on TikTok. Realities, I watch YouTube Shorts, but
Okay, YouTube Shorts.
But I saw that in that scene when you go to the city, when people say something, or was it when they say something? There's a scene where every Spider-Man in there makes their own joke about spot and holes. They each make their own specific pun about holes.
Oh, really?
And it's written all over all the yellow, like those yellow text boxes that they usually use in comics that they have in those scenes.
Yeah.
Are all Spider-Man jokes.
Whoa.
Yeah. I didn't read any of them because that scene was quick,
Yeah, very quick.
Things were happening.
It's meant to be viewed in slow-mo almost.
Yeah. But it's a great scene.
Great scene.
And I think they have a way of making long scenes feel like they lasted like a short time. Because that scene was very long. The whole coming to Spider City, meeting Miguel... Oh, I'm stuck in a box. Let me out.
That was the most effective part of the movie for me. Him being stuck in a box and realizing why they're all there, and realizing that he's like alone in his quest to save his dad.
Yeah.
Because it feels like, his dad's gonna die. Let's all go save him. But no, it's all you. I thought that was probably one of the most effective parts of Spider City.
Yeah, you thought that was the most effective part of Spider City, not the whole city.
I think it wasn't just because I knew it was coming.
Oh, I see.
If it was just a surprise, if we knew nothing about it, and then it's like, Welcome to Spider City. I'd be like, holy shit, this reveal is insane. But like,
We saw
literal
it in
shot
the
already in the trailer.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I still liked it. I liked the engine a lot.
No, I did too. I think that specific part of it though just stuck out as like a emotionally powerful scene.
I will say one thing though. Miguel, Spider B Parker, the maid, Spider Noir, Miles Morales. They make the other Spider-Man look B grade in terms of.
They probably are B grade. That's why we don't know who they are.
Yeah, I mean Spider-Man Part Car is like, all right, guys.
Part Car is insane.
No, yeah, but yeah. So I also liked how that led so perfectly into the what's it called, the cliffhanger.
Of him trying to escape and not realizing that he's going to a different universe.
Yeah, they go from like chase. And truly, they got me. Like I should have seen that scene coming. It was right there on the nose.
Yeah.
But because of everything that's happening, they didn't even have to hide it, and they still got you. It felt.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, he's going back to his real city, and it's right there. It's not. It's written Earth 42. When they're sending him back, you see it. In front of your face,
and you just don't realize.
You just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen 42 the entire movie. We saw it on the Spider again.
Yeah.
We saw it in a couple other things. They even say that like it takes you back to where the Spider was. Like they tell you everything you need to know.
They tell you everything you know.
And you don't realize that they're setting you up again. Great at setups.
Yeah.
Subtle setups.
Tell you everything, and they still catch you in the end. Even in the end, I was like, oh, is this not his idea? Yeah.
Before we get into that final act, which I'm excited to talk about, the twist and the finale, one little detail that I did catch while watching it the first time, or the only time. Keep saying the first time like I've seen it more than once.
You're going to watch it again.
I really want to.
Yeah.
I saw it in IMAX the first time, so I don't need to do that again. But it was.
That's what I should have done.
If you want to go, I'd go with you. I'd happily do it again.
I tried to watch it IMAX, but it was booked up, so I had to go somewhere else.
Yeah, you were there opening weekend. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But when Miles is running away and Miguel goes, he's yelling at a bunch of other Spider-Men, and he's like, "Find Peter Parker," and they all point at each other. They do the meme. Yeah. That was like a funny bit.
Yeah.
But then Miguel is like, "No, find Miles." And so it's like in the entire Spider universe, there's only one Miles. That's one thing I did catch in the thing. Now, to your point that there really being two Miles, but only one Spider-Man that's Miles, I think it's interesting that they're keeping it that way. Yeah. Even though it would be cool if, like, in Beyond Spider-Verse, they revealed that there's more out there. But in the context of everyone that they know, I thought it was another thing of, like, he is truly, like, everyone knows, like, oh, Miles, that guy. Like, that one that doesn't belong.
Which is also interesting because Miguel is not a Peter Parker either.
Is his last name? Oh, it's O'Hara. It's not Parker.
Unless Miguel means Peter in Spanish. Which,
don't think that's how I don't think that's how language works.
But,
Miguel translates to Peter.
But I also know he's like a Peter that exists in a world where I think, if I'm getting this correct, I know such small comic book knowledge, but I think he exists in his world, it's like 2099. So Peter Parker is way back when. It's his past.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
I don't know how that matches up, but
I think that Miguel O'Hara is an anomaly.
You think he's an anomaly?
I think that's going to be revealed in the. That's jumping the gun. I know we have theories at the end of this, but. Let's say that for later.
He's also a vampire, which is so random.
So random. Kind of scary when he brings out his claws. He's not webbing anything. He's just running up a train, just fucking shit up as he goes.
Yeah, that's the one thing I remember thinking, or also Kelly would mention this to me. It's like, is he Spider-Man? I was like, he's wearing the suit, but he's not doing any Spider-Man things.
There's no Spider-Man powers. It's just super strength, and he has claws that
can
crawl up things.
He's just a badass guy in a spider suit, I guess.
With the fucking amazing traps, and Dorito back and everything.
Yeah, it could be a weirdo with a spider suit. I don't know why he chose the spider suit per se, but you know.
It's like, I like that one. It's like, you know what, Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man.
That's me.
It's great fit. Okay, should we jump into the third act, the final section of this movie?
Yeah.
The twist in the finale. I didn't see the twist coming. I thought it was fantastic. I liked. Because truly in the theater, I was like, he's telling his mom, holy shit, he's admitting that he's Spider-Man. This feels wrong. Why is he doing this? Like, I can't believe he's fucking doing this.
Okay.
And then obviously, he glitches out after his mom has a weird reaction. And I just thought that was so brilliant. Because I really, really thought. The one thing that was confusing to me was that we see the other Spider people and we see Gwen in Miles' universe looking for him. And we see Gwen outside of Miles' room. And then we cut to Miles in his room, obviously in a different dimension. And the entire time I'm looking out the right window, trying to find Gwen's like head pop up, and it never popped up. And I was like, why are they showing us what's on the outside and what's on the inside that's so different? Like, there's no cohesion between these two rooms. I thought that was just bad directing. In the moment, I was like, this is weird. Why are they showing it this like this? And then immediately I was like, I'm an idiot. That's brilliant. Like, I can't believe they just got me.
Oh, see, at that point, I think I clocked what was going on.
Okay.
But I still didn't realize, for some reason, didn't realize, oh, we're about to meet Earth 42 Prowl. And that whole thing caught me off guard.
Once we meet Uncle Aaron in that world, I knew that we were going to meet Miles Morales in that world.
Yes. Once I saw his dad being dead.
And then he was like, what, you changed your haircut. You had dreads or whatever?
Yeah.
The dreads. I was like, holy.
Yeah. I was like, oh, shit, okay.
A little tidbit also, the Prowl, what do we call him? Anti-Miles Morales? The whatever.
Or the real Spider-Man.
The real Spider-Man.
Okay, whatever.
The other guy.
Yeah.
He is more clearly Latino. Like, obviously Miles is like an Afro-Latino guy. But this guy has dreads. His accent was more like Spanish. I don't even know.
Well, that's because his dad's dead.
Because his dad's dead and he was raised by his mom.
See? That's
such
that
a
level
small
of
detail. It's nuts, dude.
Yeah. No. Shouts out to these. Yeah, they really go. They try so hard.
And it works. It's like, you don't feel like, wow, they tried really hard and this fucking sucks. It's like, no, goddamn, like, I can't believe how many people worked this hard. It's you can sense the just pure ambition in this movie.
Yeah,
that's like the thing that I think people need to go see this in theaters for. Is just like, I can't believe they made this movie the way they did it and like they pulled it off.
And the research team must be crazy.
I mean, probably the nerdiest nerds of all time, just pumping the way I'm pumping through 21st Century Comedies this week to prepare for our podcast next week. Oh. That's them with Spider-Man comics, just 4 a day.
I can't honestly feel like I can be like, oh, if only they had this detail. Like, oh, look at that. They nail everything cultural, everything. Well, I wouldn't say everything cultural because I'm not Spanish, but
they have that element in there of it feels like you're at an immigrant party. Like, as an Indian person, I was like, there's the annoying auntie that you don't want to talk to, people with the loud people with the mic, like the family argument that breaks out at a party. Like, all this stuff is so rooted in like, I don't know, being a person of color, being an immigrant.
Yeah, and I think it's also written just growing up in Queens and whatnot. I didn't grow up in Queens, but fucking West Side Story.
Completely wrong. Completely different neighborhood in New York.
I'm just kidding. No. I was lost. There's another. What's the other? It doesn't matter. Let's move on. But they are. I think they do so well with just cultural things. With him going from Spanish to English in the first movie, and they keep that whole thing in the second movie. Everything they do, I feel like they do it so thoughtfully.
No subtitles on the many lines of Spanish in this movie between him and his mom.
Did they have that in the first movie?
No subtitle. Well, in the first movie, there was not that much. This movie, there were like multiple sentences at a time that you don't have subtitles, and I kind of liked it because you can kind of get the vibe of it.
Okay. See, I almost feel like that's a trend that's been happening lately, and I'm mixed on it.
Have you seen other movies that do that? Where it's
I forget. I saw a movie recently. What was it? It wasn't Spanish. It was like it was some English European movie or something, and then they just go into like speaking like full on German. I'm like, am I supposed to do something with this?
Well, I don't mind it. I mean, have you seen The Godfather?
Yes.
So there's that whole scene where Al Pacino's character, is talking in Italian, and there's no subtitles, but you know why he's there.
Yeah.
So you understand that and then he breaks in. He's like, "What I want."
Yeah, no.
What's most important to me.
I get it. Sometimes I know. I didn't also mind it in this movie. To be fair, it's like not such a big deal. I'm like, I need my English or else like get out of my country.
Yeah.
No, nothing like that. But yeah, I just maybe I'll learn Spanish. Just for this movie.
That's one of the saddest reasons to learn one of the largest languages in the world is so you can understand 4 more lines of dialogue and across the letters.
I would say it also like adds to how he interacts with his mom.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that whole Spanish speaking back and forth And also, it's a little bit different in how he interacts with his dad. Because even the Miles Morales dad has his dad, has in his world, he's been feeling a little bit more and more distant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the whole conversation where he's trying to, not die from Spot, but talk to his dad.
Yeah, Spider-Man, yeah. Great scene. I feel like we kind of skipped over that, but a lot of funny jokes in that scene.
Yeah. So, I like the level of detail. If I wish... I don't know. So... I don't know. Maybe that's also why I appreciate this one too more. Is I try, to the world out there. I do art sometimes, I guess.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I wish I could. I feel like there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I'm thoughtful about what I'm doing. I start doing it, and then some parts I'm just like, I just do them because they look good. Mm-hmm. But I feel like everything they did in this movie meant something, which is impressive, Yeah.
Well, I mean, I agree for the most part, but it feels like, the scene of him and Gwen hanging out on a skyscraper and hanging out upside down, that's pretty much just beauty and like soaking in that moment. It's intentional because you want to hang out with them as...
Well, I think they just... In my mind, I thought they were just copying the whole... Spider-Man, I hang out upside down with my girlfriend.
Well, yeah, but there's no like deeper meaning behind that. It's just a cool thing that Spider-Man does.
I mean, I guess Easter eggs count as a meaning in my bag.
Is that an Easter egg, or is it just the character? That's like being like Jack Sparrow was on a boat because he's a pirate. It's like, well, yeah, that's not an Easter egg. He's a pirate.
That's fair enough. Big Easter egg.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I agree with your point though. I'm trying to qualify it a little bit.
No, that's fair. Well. The movie is worse now, guys.
The movie is now 1% worse. Yeah. I mean, we kind of hit the main plot, I guess. Since we're at the end of the movie, theories about the sequel. You have one that fucking the Prowler's Spider-Man or some garbage like that.
No, this Prowler is the Miles Morales that's canon, right?
He's the canon.
He's the canon Miles Morales.
Correct.
Okay. The Miles Morales we have.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's the Prowler. He just goes to school, goes to some Ivy League college.
But he was supposed to be the Prowler if the spider didn't bite him.
Why do you say that though?
Because when the spider bit him, what was he doing? He was hanging out with Uncle Aaron doing graffiti. If that spider doesn't bite him, he just keeps hanging out with Uncle Aaron. Suddenly, his relationship with his dad was already fractured, but kept getting more fractured because of the boarding school and everything. Uncle Aaron would soon become his mentor, and they would both kind of play that Prowler figure together. Like,
well, maybe he learns the code, and
he's at the best prep school in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Well, no, I truly think that though.
No, that's fair. So he's the Prowler in his universe.
Yes, if the spider doesn't bite him, he's the Prowler. But the spider bites him, which that's the anomaly.
But that spider was also going for the other one.
He was.
So one of them is the real Spider-Man.
Well, it's more like, in my mind, it's more like what was supposed to happen versus what happened. So once an anomaly takes place, things are just different. Okay. It's not that both universes now kind of split off and exist in parallel.
Okay.
That being said, I think there will be some redemptive quality to the Prowler, because I think it would be weird if like
he's
Miles,
just a straight up villain.
Yeah, Miles meets another Miles and he's the worst guy ever. It's like, no, like there's gonna be some redemption.
I think. I just completely think that he's gonna be the next. He's gonna be the Spider-Man of Earth 42.
You mean the anti-Miles Morales we see?
Yeah, the Miles Morales who does become the Prowler. I think he is the Miles. He becomes.
And what happens to our Miles?
He's still Spider-Man.
He goes beyond the Spider-Verse.
I think that next Spider-Man is just introducing him as not an anomaly, and he is Spider-Man. There will be a potential another Miles Morales out there. I think that's the first. You know how I don't know. First there was Peter Parker. Yeah. Then there was Peter B. Parker.
Right.
And next there was Miguel, I think. That's just
Miguel's literally 2099.
I don't know. I don't know how it goes, but
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Because Gwen cannot be also the only Gwen that becomes Spider-Man.
Right.
There's even in, I think. I don't remember. This is such hazy memory, but in the old Spider-Man cartoons, I feel like there's Spider-Man, there's Gwen as Spider-Man, correct?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm not a big comic guy.
Yeah, honestly, me neither. I feel like I just hear people say these things. So
should we say that as a point though, that despite this movie being rooted in the Spider-Man comics and having hundreds of Spider-Man, knowing literally none of them, it's like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No.
It's not. That's not what this movie's about.
No.
Which I think is a pretty interesting difference, because a lot of what Marvel's doing now is like, if you want to enjoy this movie, you got to watch 4 TV shows and you got to watch 16 movies in the past.
Yeah,
and this is like, do you like yes, you should watch the first movie to really understand what's going on.
Of course.
It's just 2 movies though. It's a series, but that's it. There's no outside knowledge you need. They walk you through any of the outside canon events that you really need to understand. Even if you've never seen any other Spider-Man movie, you can understand the concept of, okay, there are things that happen to this character, and I know that this character exists outside of this. The more you know, the more you get rewarded. But as like an on the surface thing, it really works as a standalone movie.
Yeah, and I would say maybe it's also partly why the early Marvel Avengers stuff worked, like Iron Man, all that stuff. It's like you didn't have to know 10 different movies to watch.
They just relied on good storytelling and good acting.
Now you gotta, I don't even know what you have to know.
You burn 50 hours.
Yeah, which is
chuck through 5 different seasons of television. It's actually nuts. And apparently there's a show that came out 2 weeks ago called Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. It's a Marvel TV show, one of the 8 or 9 that exist now, probably more. And apparently there was some crazy reveal where Don Cheadle's character, who is in Iron Man as War Machine, his character is revealed to be like a Skrull, which is an alien in the Marvel world. So it's like, we don't know. I just saw this on TikTok, but it's like you see a reveal like Thanos' mask.
I actually know what these people are.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them in Young Justice.
Oh, I've never seen Young Justice.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Am I now missing out?
Oh my gosh. Biggest, best, whatever.
But I think it's so fascinating though, right? Because like, I saw Don Cheadle liked a tweet where somebody said like, 10 years ago this would have been a huge deal, but now it's just some shit that happens in a TV show that no one's watching.
Oh, dang. That's tough, yeah. Too much content.
Like, remember when Captain America Civil War came out and Twitter was like, Team Iron Man, Team Captain America?
Yeah.
That was a huge thing, and it was just marketing, but like, everyone knew what was going on. Now it's like, fucking, what are you saying? Like, Loki dies.
Oh, see? This is news to me. Like, usually I've literally been living life knowing what's happening in Avengers. I haven't really seen the movies, but I know what's been happening because people talk about it. Yeah. But you tell me Loki dies right now, I'm like, oh, I'm surprised I didn't know
it's
that.
not a spoiler, though, because it doesn't matter, because there's now a Loki TV show. So Loki's dead in whatever.
He dies before the TV show?
I don't know the timeline of the TV show, but all I'm saying is that, like, it doesn't matter, because things that are happening in the TV show now matter to future movies that are taking place on the same timeline. So it's like, yeah, sure, Loki dies, but it doesn't matter because you can go watch him on the TV show. It's like, if Iron Man dies and then comes back in a TV show the next day, no one cares about Iron Man dying.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's weird.
A little bit of a rant, but I guess my main point is that these movies are like outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and thank God for that. I think it would be ruined if they were like part of the same thing.
Oh, I agree with you. I was going to point out that Star Wars has a little bit of that, but Star Wars also, even though each movie, I feel like I can jump into a Star Wars movie and watch a movie and not know what's going on, and still enjoy it. I've not seen the first 6. I watched fucking Angry Boy Adam Driver, and still worked for me.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but from what I understand, it's maybe getting to that point, but not nearly at the level of what Marvel's trying to do.
Okay. In that case, I take it back. I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know either. We're just kind of like guessing at each other's games here. Any Easter eggs that we haven't hit that you want to talk about? I know you went on a TikTok deep dive and sorry, YouTube Shorts deep dive.
YouTube Shorts deep dive.
So your information is about a year and a half delayed. I don't know what you're gonna say here.
Let's see. No, I think we've hit on every Easter egg that I can remember.
Okay.
I don't know if we talked about this, but they have that Donald Glover scene in the Spider-Man movies where that community, it's a random person is watching that on the TV.
A random character in Across the Spider-Verse is watching the scene in Community where Donald Glover's wearing a red Spider-Man onesie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nuts.
The movie's moving too fast to realize.
Maybe was it in like the Spider City where there are all these screens?
No. It's like
maybe he's swinging through.
It's in Brooklyn. It's like in the early stages. It's just like a person on TV.
So cool.
TV. Yeah, that's the other Easter egg I can think of. Other than that, no.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't have much else. I think we've talked about most Easter eggs that I had picked up on. We're kind of at the end of what I wanted to talk about, unless you have anything else. But I guess we should end where we started, knowing what we know now that we talked about.
Wait, did you talk about your what your theories are?
Oh, for the next movie?
Yeah.
I think that we're gonna learn more about Miguel. Like we already learned some, but I think Miguel is gonna be a character that we have to resolve somehow before we end up fighting the spot.
Yeah.
And
it's not a theory I would add.
Well, what I'm saying is that I think that it's gonna be revealed that Miguel is also an anomaly. That he's kind of
okay.
Because he's always saying Miles is the first anomaly.
That's true.
But I'm like, Miguel is not Spider-Man.
It's not Spider-Man.
So why is no one talking about this? Like, why are we just agreeing to let him lead this whole posse?
Yeah, these are the Spider-Man. Too lax, man. Way too lax.
Way too, yeah.
I feel like we had the Spider-Man in Miles Morales' universe that guy was doing some things. He had to die, but R.I.P. to him. But everyone else just kind of living life.
Another great thing about the first movie is this we meet Spider-Man and he gets brutally murdered by Kingpin.
That's true.
And he was a dope Spider-Man too. He was
amazing.
He had swag. He was really strong.
He had a bat cave.
What?
You don't see. That's my point.
Bat cave.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
In the first movie, you go to Aunt May's house. And she takes you to Spider-Man's Batcave.
Yeah, Batcave. Got it.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about a fucking literal cave. I was like, we need to watch different.
No, just like underground.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was he was Batman, and
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah.
I digress. I don't have any other real theories. I do think that this is one thing we should talk about. Who's gonna die in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse? What main character is gonna die? I think one main character has to die. This is, at the end of the day, a kids' movie. I don't think a ton of people are going to die.
But see, this is the problem, I think, with kids' movies. Is that they start off so good when no one knows who they are.
Yeah.
They make it big, and then they can't kill off anyone.
Yeah.
It's all these fans.
This is the Game of Thrones issue.
And kids and whatnot. Kids can't see people die that they love.
Well, kids see characters die all the time.
Not the ones they love, though.
Is that true?
I don't know if that's true.
They don't kill off main characters anymore.
They don't.
They killed Mufasa 45 minutes into The Lion King. My guy was fucking...
Yeah, but that was first movie. Second movie, no one died.
Lion King 2?
Yeah.
Of course, that's Lion King 2.
That's my point, though. This is Lion King.
Wait, no. Also, that's not true. They kill off two... I mean, they're both bad guys, I guess.
Yeah, the bad guys
they
die all the time.
You're right.
The way they be brutally murdering bad guys. But I don't know if there's a main character that would die. I don't think anyone else dies.
Hold on, Princess and the Frog, the Firefly dies. Really random deep cut.
I was gonna say.
Pulling out receipts. Okay. 2009, Princess and the Frog. That Firefly goes to fucking heaven. He becomes a star.
I stand corrected.
There you go.
No, yeah, I can't see who die. Who'd be a good death? If Gwen dies. Ooh.
If Gwen dies,
that would be a good death.
Holy
That'd
shit.
Be crazy.
And I think that wouldn't be that crazy because of the fact that they resolved her arc with her dad.
I know. That's why I thought about her.
She has nothing holding her back from dying now. Nothing left to resolve. She can run into battle, just be the first death. 5 minutes in, just see her die. And it doesn't matter. Her arc is complete.
No. Or maybe Kobe comes back and gives up his life or something, some kind of sacrifice.
Kobe's a free spirit, but then lays down his life for the fight for Miles. Yeah. That's what he believes in.
I don't know.
But doesn't that feel like a little bit of... I want Gwen, Miles' dad, Miles' mom.
Miles' dad and mom are guaranteed life.
You think so?
Because his whole thing is fighting the anomaly. If they kill him now...
What if his mom dies?
Oh, yeah, that's fair, huh? They just...
What if he saves his dad from what he sees, but his mom dies somehow?
Yeah, just in the same way Gwen dies in that one of the Spider-Man.
He tries to save... Oh, no, that would be tragic.
Tragic.
I'd actually be so sad. They can't kill his mom. His mom is literally more of a character than the dad at this point.
Yeah.
The dad just stands for something. The mom's a real character now.
First movie, though, they had some deaths. His uncle, Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They were...
Killing Uncle Aaron was pretty wild.
That was crazy. Yeah,
just getting shot in the head, in the back, I guess.
Yeah, and just actual death by bullet.
Death by bullet, true. Yeah, not like a weird Spider-Man web death.
No,
or something. Impaled by his Green Goblin glider.
Yeah, just died to normal cut. I don't know if it's normal, but yeah, I don't know who died.
This is a random unanswerable question: was Uncle Aaron going to kill Miles right before Uncle Aaron died in movie number 1? Remember, I think he was.
No,
I'll tell you why.
He heard his voice.
He heard his voice. He puts the mask up,
Yeah.
and he's like, no. Miles is like, Uncle Aaron, please, no. And then Kingpin's like, what are you waiting for? Shoot him. And Uncle Aaron grabs Miles' mask and pulls it back over his face. And reaches for something and then dies. And to me, putting his mask on his face was like, I have to kill you. So I'm going to pretend you're just Spider-Man, not...
You think he was that villainous?
Yeah.
Nah.
I think he was still deciding, but I think he was going to kill him.
That would be so grimy.
I mean, that's why they didn't do it. I'm just saying, I think that's what they're implying.
That would be insane.
Unanswerable question. But
I don't go by. That's too crazy.
I truly think
There's
that's what they were
levels,
implying.
I honestly do not believe, because even when you meet him, I guess Spider-Man in the second movie now, they've kind of made him to be this good guy, so maybe they can't. I don't know, man. That would be crazy.
It would be crazy. Yeah.
If they had done that, let's go.
If they did that, Miles' mom is dying for sure.
Yeah. But I'm saying they kill his uncle, so I don't put it past them.
Yeah.
Gwen would be a big one.
Gwen feels like a more likely death than anyone else as a main character. No, you know who's gonna die?
I actually just figured it out.
Peter B. Parker.
Oh no.
Who are you gonna say?
He just has a child, man.
I think that's why he's gonna die.
I was gonna say Miguel. Miguel dies. He's the anomaly, and maybe that whole theory you're saying is right.
And when Miguel dies, then
It's like,
the world's safe.
I'm an anomaly. You're a seppuku.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
The reason I said Peter B. Parker was that obviously he has the kid, but like the struggle that he was facing in the first movie is now completely resolved. He has a kid. He's happy. Yeah. He's a mentor to Miles, but he's gonna prove himself again to be like, I do care about you, Miles. I didn't give up on you. I didn't betray you. And then he's gonna sacrifice himself.
I actually think he's just gonna become a background character.
No, I think he's gonna become. I think he was a background character in this movie.
Yeah,
relatively.
I think the creators believe that parenthood makes you non-existent in the world anymore. So they're just like, get out of here, guy. Go.
Wow, what a take.
Yeah, so just like, go take care of your daughter or something.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know, but no, I if he dies, I'll be like, damn, that's super tragic for his daughter.
I feel like it makes sense.
My bet is Miguel. I'm
Miguel.
locking it in. Yeah.
Lock in Miguel. I'm gonna lock in Peter B. Parker, but I think we're both kind of in on Gwen as well.
Yeah.
But if we had to choose sides, we chose our sides.
She's prepped for that.
She's prepped to die. I think I think I could see all of them. I think Hobie's a good call too, honestly. But that would be sad. I like Hobie a lot.
But I want to say Hobie because he has to come back somehow. People love him too much.
People love him. You're right. Yeah.
But bringing him back just to kill him is crazy.
That'd be nuts. That truly would be nuts.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Into the Spider-Verse versus Across the Spider-Verse. You're still Across the Spider-Verse better?
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse.
I don't think our conversation convinced me.
Really?
But it's not so solid in my mind that I'm unchanged. It's just that like I think maybe I need to watch this movie again.
You have more characters you like in this one though.
It's not just about that though. I'm looking at a holistic view of the story and what went down.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the fact that you like more characters means that
there are more characters. It's you're changing the denominator's different. You can't compare.
No, but even more characters doesn't always mean more likable characters or like more characters.
You know what's a great example of this is Incredibles 2. Fuck that movie.
Damn, straight restaurant. It's an alright movie.
They added 15 new characters, and I didn't care about any of them, and I barely cared about the main characters. Oh, wow, and I think the original Incredibles is probably like top 2, top 3 superhero movies of all time.
Okay. See, we have different views. I don't think Incredibles 2 is amazing, but I don't hate the characters.
I hated it because I had really high hopes. It's the same reason why I think the live action Lion King is probably the worst film I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm actually more confident on that than anything else.
What?
The live action Lion King has so many
issues. It has
issues.
Beyonce singing.
She is one of the worst voice actresses in the movie.
Honestly, that has been fact for so long.
She is like, she obviously one of the greatest singers ever to do it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as a voice actress in the movie, it's like, that's not Nala. That's fucking Beyonce.
Voice actor.
It's not Donald. It's not Simba. It's fucking Donald Glover. They don't even try to hide it.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a whole other rant. I'm so happy to do why I hate that movie podcast. But yeah, I don't know. I want to see this movie again so I can definitively know. I just think that like there was a lot of charm and a lot of like wholeness to the first movie, and I'm not saying that a lack
is whatever.
I'm not saying a lack of that means that this is inherently worse. I'm just saying that is why I like the first movie. Does that make sense?
I hear you, and I will challenge you to. I would say that 2 is a better way. They told the story better, or even a better story, honestly. And the other one is all just feel good stuff that you're feeling. That's what I'll challenge you to watch the other one.
Is it possible to say that? Is it possible to say that 1 is better and 2 is more rewatchable? Is that even true? Have you ever? I
want to agree with that, but
we haven't rewatched it.
But I don't want to say 1 is better.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I will say 2 is more rewatchable. Yes.
That's what I'm feeling right now. Is that it's the same? It's like the Godfather 1, Godfather 2 thing, where Godfather 1 is more rewatchable, Godfather 2 is better.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like so confident in that.
You think Godfather 1 is better?
No. Godfather 2 is better. Is that what I think I mixed it up. I said Godfather 1 is more rewatchable. Godfather 2 is better.
Okay.
And I personally like Godfather 1 is one of my favorite movies, just like me personally. I think rewatchability is a huge factor in that. It's just like you can turn it on and just cut to any scene and be like, oh yeah, we're about to hit that thing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll say rewatch them though. I'm interested. I will say I did the quick recap of 1 just because you said you like this one. I was like, no, I don't.
Did it hit?
Yeah. No, it hit, of course. It hit. But like the scenes you're mentioning, the big scene with the jumping, 100%. Him learning Spider-Man stuff, 100%. But I also think there's so much more to that movie that you forgot.
Fair, yeah. I should rewatch both.
Yeah.
An unanswerable question, but maybe by the end of the year I'll have a more solid answer. You know, it's also tough because like I left this movie being like, this is one of the most fun movies of the year, most ambitious, most impressive movies of the year, and I still feel like people aren't talking about it enough.
Same.
You know, it's been almost 2 months since its release. Oh no, sorry, a month and a half, let's say, and. Yeah, why is no one talking about this movie? I mean, people are talking about it, but people are also talking about other movies, and I'm like, did we forget that like this like very like instant masterpiece just dropped?
Yeah,
and no one's really like if this is. I think that this movie deserves to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars.
That's what I was about to just say. That
it won't be because
it's animated.
Well, they've done it. They've nominated 3 animated movies before.
Really?
91, they do Beauty and the Beast. 2009, they do Up. In 2010, they do Toy Story 3.
Beauty and the Beast was nominated. How bad were movies in 1999?
I was about to say, it was a little weak year. I think Silence of the Lambs won that year.
Okay.
Or maybe that was a year before or after. I don't know. But, I mean, this is a better movie than Up. Easily.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. Up is like borderline top 10 Pixar.
Okay, yeah. In my opinion.
Toy Story 3 is better, for sure. But I still think this movie is better. Toy Story 3 has, like, very emotional highs. That's a story. Like, most of Toy Story 3 is just them running around trying to escape a playground. It's like, okay, it's fun, but like, Across the Spider-Verse hits a lot harder. You know?
It's crazy how we minimize good movies just for
no.
We're like,
hear me out.
Toy Story.
I have both Toy Story 3 and Across the Spider-Verse at a 9 right now. Okay. A 9 out of 10. But like, if we're talking like ambition and impressiveness and like, you know, movie-going experiences, the end of Toy Story 3 is pretty legendary. Hard to beat like 2 back-to-back banger scenes like that.
Okay.
But sitting through almost 2.5 hours of Across the Spider-Verse and just being like, I could sit through 10 hours of this and be totally okay.
That's it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
there's not been an experience like this, and we won't see an artistic achievement like this probably until Beyond the Spider-Verse, if that.
So why do you think it won't be nominated?
Because the Oscars are stupid, and it's not just an animated movie; it's an animated superhero movie.
Yeah.
They've nominated one superhero movie, and it's Black Panther, and that was honestly not a deserved nomination in my mind.
Yeah, no.
It's a little bit of it was like 2018, like peak, like political correctness, like let's
also
nominate.
what's his name was passing away with our.
That was before though.
Oh, that was before.
Yeah.
Oh, shots.
Because he passed away like in 2020, I think.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. R.I.P. Bozeman.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen because of the superhero aspect more than the animated. But who knows? Maybe it's also tough because this is also gearing up to be a fantastic movie year in general. Like, this is like the first post-COVID movie year, truly.
Yeah, if someone died in this movie and had people crying,
it's possible.
They would have nominated it.
Up in Toy Story 3, there's a death.
People love to cry.
People like to cry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know, but I also agree with you. Like, no one's talking about it.
I think it's people who like it love it, and people who were like it's fine or like it's fine, but I'm like it's not fair to just say you thought the movie was okay and you just read it off there. Like there's so much that we need to unpack as a society.
Yeah.
We have not had people talk about people talk about Soul like it's the deepest, most awesome animated movie they've seen, and that was like 4
I haven't
years
seen
ago.
Soul, but I've heard
It's
not
overrated.
great things.
It's overrated,
Yeah.
in my opinion. People love it. Happy for them. People should like things that they like, but I can't. It's just a lot. I'm trying to do a lot, but people gave that its like laurels,
Yeah.
and like if you say that name, people will be like, oh yeah, cute movie about life and whatever. You say Across the Spider-Verse, they're gonna be like, oh, the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. People don't like action movies.
I don't like the connotation that it's like, oh, it's a Spider-Man.
I feel like
movie.
Incredibles thing wasn't never gonna win anything.
No,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dang.
Superhero movies, action movies, comedy movies, they don't get awards at the Oscars.
A lot of it's nominated. It's like a lot of it is deserved, but
yeah, there's a lot of shitty things out there, but there's a lot of good things.
There's a lot of good things. Yeah, you're right. But look, how did Logan do, by the way?
I mean, no Oscars. Maybe one for visual effects, if that, but I doubt it.
Wow, huh?
I actually have never seen Logan.
You've never seen Logan?
I haven't seen. I've only seen clips of Logan, and I've only seen clips of most X-Men movies, except for Deadpool, which I don't know if that counts. But that's a gap in my superhero.
Honestly, Logan, best X-Men movie.
Oh, that's what I've heard. I've heard it's like no question.
Yeah, it's not
Days of Future Past comes close, maybe, but otherwise.
I wouldn't even say it comes close. Days of Future Past is good in a different way. Logan is good in that you feel it. It's got the action, everything.
Got the emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I wish people would talk about this more. I feel like it wasn't. I'm on Twitter. I didn't see that much. People weren't like, oh my goodness. Everyone, if I search the movie, if I actively go search it out, people are like, oh my goodness, greatest movie. But then it's not permeating,
Yeah, I think it's tough because it came out at the beginning of June, and then July, the whole month of July has been dedicated to Barbie and Oppenheimer as a society. Like anything you see on social media is about
it's not
that.
getting nominated. Never mind.
I'm telling you, CJ, that there's so many, like, I'm not saying good movies because I haven't seen them, but there's so many movies that are geared up to be like, this could be like nominated for every award.
Yeah, the hype.
There's a lot of hype around there's like 10 legendary directors releasing movies this year. Like legendary American directors are all just like.
What are these movies?
Oh gosh, you're making me name them. Christopher Nolan, obviously. Greta Gerwig's not. I wouldn't say she's legendary, but Greta Gerwig is like on par, like filmmaking wise, with like the Jordan Peeles and the Ari Asters of the world. Of like, they're 3 movies into their career. They're young, but they're like all solid. Martin Scorsese is coming out with Killers of the Flower Moon in October. I haven't heard of that. Leo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro. It's about. You gotta listen to my podcast, CJ. I talk about all of this.
Okay.
But that's that there's Ridley Scott, there's David Fincher. There's all these names that, like, if I named each of these directors' movies, you'd be like, holy shit, they've made awesome movies.
That's a tough year, then.
It's gonna be an amazing year for film, and we're gonna look back on 2023 and be like, this was the year that we're back in theaters.
Just to have this on record, I think Spider-Man easily better than Barbie because that movie's gonna be.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm just putting that on record now.
You're gonna get canceled.
I'm a betting man.
I'm not gonna chime in on that. I want Barbie to be amazing. I want Oppenheimer.
No. I want all movies that ever come out in the world to be amazing. But the reality,
you're just thinking it's gonna be overhyped. It's very possible.
It's also I also think it's set up for such failure.
It is.
It's got everyone in it. It's so hyped.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see this movie.
It's same for Oppenheimer. It's completely set up to just people watch it and be like, yeah, okay.
Well, I also think it's easier to make Oppenheimer than it is to make Barbie, if I'm being fair.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oppenheimer, the story writes itself. The guy made a nuclear bomb and cried. What else do you need?
He made a nuclear bomb and cried. That's an amazing thesis of the movie Oppenheimer.
I hope they're all great, though. I mean, it'd be amazing if Barbie's just better than Spider-Verse. Oh, man. If those 2 movies are better, in my opinion, if those are better, then they're in the running for...
greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. It's a hard bar. But, I mean, it's a great movie. Me and CJ, I'm sure you agree. We encourage everyone listening to go see that movie. And, get to theaters because this summer is pretty awesome for blockbusters. Any closing thoughts?
No. This was nice. Video Village.
Yeah, dude. It was fun.
I don't know if you're cutting this part in, cutting out, but...
I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. How do you end it?
I usually... if it's just me, then I'll just be like... Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week on Video Village.
All right. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you. Technically, I will see you next week on Video Village, people.
That's true. That episode's not going to drop for a while, though.
Okay, so I'll see you at a point that's next week, but you might see it as next year. So
exactly.
Is that what do I do as a person?
That was it. Over and out. You
Okay,
do my
over and
outro.
out.
Peace.
Pieces.
Special thanks to my lovely girlfriend Krupa Patel for the podcast's artwork, and my good friend Kevin Cow for the music that you're listening to now. You can find more of his music on Instagram at Weiguang Beats. Thanks, y'all.